Hello everyone. Now let's see the analysis of section 15 and the rules that we have seen in details in the last lectures. Okay. At the first instance, section 15 is given that value of supply of goods or service or both is equal to the transaction value, right? But transaction value is accepted only when two conditions are satisfied. That the supplier and the recipient are not related and price is the sole consideration for the supply. Then the list of related persons is given. We had seen this in detail. Then subsection 2, section 15(2) said what are the expenses to be included in the transaction value, right? There was inclusion list and there was exclusion list. Exclusion, there was no list, there was only one point, and that was the discounts, right? But in inclusions there were many, like first the taxes, duties, cess, fees, etc. That is other taxes other than GST. Taxes other than GST are to be included, right? Then second was suppliers liability, suppliers liabilities in respect of supply paid by the recipient. There also we had seen incurred by the recipient. Liability of supplier incurred by the recipient. Like the examples are given there. Amount paid by recipient that are obligation of the supplier to pay. And I had given a lot of examples there. Then incidental expenses including commission, packing, etc., etc., right? Or anything done at the time or before delivery of goods or services, that is to be included. Then interest, late fee, penalty was to be included for delay in payment. And subsidies directly linked to price, excluding subsidies provided by central and state government, because central and state government subsidies are not taxable. So we are talking about subsidies from any person other than the government subsidy. And what are the expenses to be excluded? Exclusion was only one, and that was discount, either allowed before supply or after supply also. All simple points. Then how to determine the value of supply of goods or service or both? It cannot be determined under subsection 1. If it cannot be determined, then you have to go to the rules. So then the rules are given, and the rules also we had seen in quite detail, so you almost remember everything. First we saw rule 27 for extra considerations, where consideration is in kind. So in that, first we follow the open market value. If open market value is not available, then the value of the thing that we have received in kind plus the cash consideration, if any. If that is also not available, then like, kind and quality. And if that is also not available, then go to rule 30 and 31 respectively. Okay. So that is explained again here. All simple points with the same examples, that laptop example and all. Point number 3 and point number 4. Last you go to 30 and 31. So 4 points you have to remember. Open market value. If that is not available, then the value of the goods that we have received in kind, value of consideration in kind. If that is not available, then like, kind and quality. And if that is not also available, then rule 30 and 31. Then rule 28 was there. Rule 28 applies in case of transaction between related persons or distinct persons. In that also we take open market value first. If open market value is not available, then like, kind and quality. And if that is also not available, then rule 30 and 31. Simple point. And there was an alternative that was 90% of the price charged for supply. So you can take that also. And if full input tax credit is entitled for the second person, then you don't have to pay tax. Then that shall be deemed to be the open market value. But then there is exemption also. So the points, simple points are there, and then this whole chart is given, that if the persons are related, then you apply rule 28. If not related, then you see whether they are, is the price is the sole consideration for sale. If yes, if both conditions satisfied, then transaction value. If no, then apply rule 27. So in rule 27, what you first ask is the open market value. If that is available, then open market value. If no, then money consideration plus fair market value of additional consideration. If that is also not available, then like, kind and quality. If no, then apply rule 30 and 31. And in case of related party, you apply open market value. After that, straight away like, kind and quality, and thereafter 30, 31. Very simple. Then in case of agent, rule 29 applies. Two options are there. Either you take open market value, or when the agent sells the goods, he resupplies the goods, so you can take 90% of that. 90% of the resupply price. Resupply price can be taken as value for this transaction. And then the cost based rule was rule 30. If all the other rules fail, then you had to apply rule 30, that was cost based. So here one additional point is given. CAS 4 issued by ICWI, the Cost and Work Accountant of India. Now they are called as ICAI, Cost Accountants of India. So according to them, they have given the this whole list of how to calculate the cost of production or cost of manufacture. You have to just go through it once, not to be mugged up or anything. So 110% you have to take. And then finally the residual valuation under rule 31. This is also called as the best judgment. You apply your judgment, you apply your logic of section 15 and the other rules and find out the value. Then 31A we had seen gambling, betting. So in that we had seen that lottery is run by the government and 100 upon 112. If it is run in other states, then it is called as authorized. Then it is 100 by 128. And for other games of chance, etc., it is 100% of the face value of the bet. And then we had seen section 32, which is 15(5) read with 32. In that, now this is main important one. A lot of questions will come on this rule 32. First we had seen foreign currency exchange. So in that there were two options. One was the difference option, difference between R rate and RBI rate. Or if that is not available, then 1% of the total money exchanged. So all the examples are given for you to read. So if the Indian currency is converted into dollars or dollars into rupees and RBI rate is known, it is available, then we have to find out the difference. Like in this example, USD 1000 are sold by a customer at the rate of rupees 45 per USD. RBI rate was 45.5. So difference is 0.5. 0.5 into 1000 units is 500. 500 is the value. Second was 70,000 is changed into Great Britain pound and the exchange rate offered is 70, thereby giving GBP 1000. RBI reference rate for that day is 69. So again the difference is 70 and 69, 1 rupee. So 1 rupee into 1000 GBP is 1000 rupees. Then where RBI reference rate is not available, then you have to take 1%. 1% of the total INR which is exchanged, either or. Like the illustration is given, that USD 1000 are sold by a customer at the rate of 45. Customer is selling to the bank. And RBI reference rate is not known. So how much money would have been exchanged? 1000 into 45, 45,000. 45,000 into 1%, 450. And if one foreign currency is converted into another foreign currency, then what we do is you have to convert both the foreign currencies into INR by applying the RBI reference rate, and then take whichever is less, and 1% of that less is the total value of transaction, like it is given here. 5,000 USD are converted into 4,000 euros. Okay, and the RBI reference rates are given there, 54 per USD and 74 for the euro. So 5,000 into 54, 5,000 into 54 will give us 2,70,000. 4,000 into 74 gives me 296. So the lesser of the two is 270. So I'll take 1% of 270. That is 2,700 is the value of the transaction. And then the option 2, also called as the composition option. Though there is no such word, I have given the word composition option. So in composition option, you have to just see the INR value exchanged, and then depending upon the slab in which it falls, you have to take different rates. So if the gross amount of currency exchange is less than 1 lakh, you have to take 1%, or 250 rupees per transaction. Minimum is 250, so you have to take 250. If this 1% is lesser than 250, you have to take 250. Second is, if it is more than 1 lakh but less than 10 lakh, then you have to take 1,000. 1,000 is on the first 1 lakh. 1 lakh into 1% is 1,000. And then whatever amount is exceeding 1 lakh, 0.5%. Means this slab is 1 lakh to 10 lakh, that is slab of 9 lakhs. And then above 10 lakhs, you have to take the base amount as 5,500. 5,500 comes on the first 10 lakhs. And then 0.1% of the amount exceeding 10 lakhs. And the maximum you have to limit as 60,000 per transaction. So minimum 250, maximum 60,000. This also we had seen in detail with a lot of examples. Then there was air travel agent, 5% for domestic booking and 10% for international booking. Then there was life insurance business, we had seen this in detail. Single premium, then 10%, multiple premium, then 25% for the first year premium, 12.5% for subsequent years premium. This is where the policy involves insurance plus investment. If both are involved, then these rates. But if it's a pure life insurance policy, no investment, only insurance, then full insurance premium is taxable. And then second-hand goods, we had seen second-hand goods, the value was difference between selling price and the purchase price. That is the value addition. And in that case, if it's a case of bank, and of course the negative is to be ignored, and for bank you had to reduce that 5% per quarter of use and then take it as purchase price. And then token, voucher and coupon, the amount which is exchangeable, redeemable amount. Redeemable amount will be taken. And lastly, for the services which are notified by the government, given by one distinct person to another distinct person, the value will be taken as nil if input tax credit is available to the other person. So that was it. That was all that we had seen. Great. Then 3 rules are there, 33, 34 and 35. This we'll see in the next lecture.